For the thousands in the comments and the millions listening on YouTube Premium. Let's get ready to cut Nitro!
Folks, welcome to episode 2 of Knitro here on Knotfest.com.
Boom, 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 boom. Wah, wah, wah.
We gotta write a Nitro sound alike. What a riff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's
I
gotta
love the
do
whole
it.
intro.
We gotta. I watched this episode on Daily Motion, and we gotta do it with the Jimi Hendrix intro.
sure. Mm-hmm. It's pretty unbelievable. I think we said this in the first episode, but how much of the vibe they already had nailed
Yeah,
on the production side by the second episode.
so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, the production basically is the same for the next like 3 or 4 years until they totally do the rebrand in, I guess it was 99 that they did the rebrand, so 4 years.
The
So,
intro is beautiful with the fire and projecting the wrestling on the building, on like on the Seinfeld set or whatever.
Dude, it's literally
So
like
good.
Universal backlot, like the hairspray.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
John
way-
Sharp
it
is
is exactly. It was absolutely taped at Universal because that's where they would do their tapings.
Yeah.
They had a whole backlot that was like a studio set that they would use as their like Saturday night
New York
entrance, and they
Street.
turned that
That's
into
where
the.
Spider-Man buys his fucking
Oh yeah,
baked goods, you know?
Yeah,
There you
100%.
go.
The King Kong
Yeah,
is
I
gonna
loved it.
come out.
Gotta be careful in that backlot. What do we think of episode 2 of Nitro?
First though, my first note, missed them all. I missed them all a little
I
bit.
love them all.
Loved them
I was
all.
blown away at how small the venue looked. Like the arena looked like a 300-person arena, but they made it look as big as they possibly could
Massive.
for such a tiny little room.
Yeah.
And you have to remember, at this point, WCW was not really a draw. Nobody really liked WCW. I
mean,
feel.
in the South, it's carrying on the NWA torch, and this is in Miami, right? This episode's in Miami.
Yeah, this was in Miami, correct?
So, and this is kind of where the show grows its legs, because the first episode is the first episode. It's going to do well. But then they end that first episode with, yo, we're getting the dream match, Hogan and Luger.
Yeah.
On this second.
Which I want to say, that was a total dream match at the moment that this
Big time.
Event is happening. Because what happened was Hogan was the number one guy in WWF, and he left, and then he was gone. And then the next person christened with that title was Lex Luger.
Yeah.
So it was always like, oh, who's like, it was like a Batman versus Superman type thing. Like,
Yeah.
oh, who's really the strongest muscle guy?
But didn't Lex? I don't know this area, but like Lex never wins the title. Lex is famously
Correct. It was
like,
a total
he couldn't-
failure.
He couldn't.
He
didn't
constantly
take the throne.
failed upwards. He always sucked until a few years from now,
Yeah.
when he kind of started being better. But like his push always exceeded his talent.
But he also had like a historic run with the NWA United States title.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
You have mentioned this
Yeah.
to me, Colin. The NWA Lex has good shit.
That's like his belt. That one, the beautiful 5-plate one.
But I think a lot of with Luger, a lot of the time, the quality of his matches was dependent on his opponent. If he was in there with Ric Flair or Sting or Barry Windham or Tully Blanchard or Arn Anderson, it'd be a great match.
Yeah, if
he's
he was in there with
another
the
fucking-
NWA locker room, it was a good match.
right? Well, like everyone else in the NWA was fucking
Was
great,
so
so
good.
it made it much easier.
Historically good.
But
Historically
yeah, this was
very good.
This was very much a big dream match, and it kind of was surprising that WCW just put it on free TV because this is a pay-per-view headliner of a match.
But this is
Now,
head to
of
head
course-
with Raw for the first time.
Yes,
Yeah,
this
they
was
got
the
it.
first time they were actually head-to-head because last week, as we mentioned, Raw was not on the air. They were preempted by the Westminster Dog Show, which was an annual preemption.
Sick.
Huge.
I would channel flip for the dog.
We
I-
should
I
do
ride
a
for
next
the dog
episode.
show.
We should talk about the 1995 Westminster Dog Show.
100%. Man, the Jack Russell Terriers were out of control in 1995.
You know I'm all about
Let
the
me tell you.
Schnauzers. I'm Team Schnauzer. I
This-
know they killed it.
They did incredible.
I just know.
The mixed breed series was the craziest I ever saw.
Oh, dude, that Chihuahua Beagle mix was fucking insane.
insane.
The work rate on that
what
beagle?
talent.
Straight up. That fucking kip up by that beagle. Crazy.
Before we get out of the Lex and Hogan thing, I just want to, when he says stick that stinky palm out, unbelievable.
You're gonna hear so many wonderful bad Hoganisms.
It's crazy, but they're so
Hulk
Stick
Hogan-
that stinky palm. That's my new. Give me that stinky palm. That's my high five.
He
now.
doesn't stutter. You know, he's like, I'm gonna say this insane thing. Hang on, just let me do it.
Yeah.
And it's, we'll see later in the show with the War Games like build stuff that he's so good at saving like a part that's maybe not going perfectly as planned. Like the way he gets things back on track and engages the audience is like, man, you really are the guy.
Yeah, I mean he's a pro.
He'd been doing it for what? He'd been the guy for 8 years. It's kind of like how
Yeah.
Roman is so good now, but it's been like he's been good for 2 years out of 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
Right.
And you're right. And honestly, this show is full of isms. Like, Mongo out the gate is like, this is the biggest thing since the little old lady said, "Where's the beef?"
So this is the biggest thing
I
since
have that-
a
I have
Burger
that written
King
down.
commercial.
Where's the beef? Where's the beef is like a fucking that's
Flash in
like a
the pan,
15-year-old
brother.
reference. And that's a 1980s. Mongo is absolutely atrocious. I want to start with the first shots, which I love, which were the incredibly shaky helicopter shots of Miami.
Yeah.
Like these were the cheapest helicopter shots I've ever seen. It was like the equivalent of a cell phone camera. In a
Yeah, that was the
helicopter, just like-
EMT helicopter that happened to be like picking up a patient. And they were like, we have this camera up here. We might as well shoot this for them.
But I have to say, I still loved it because Nitro was trying to make itself look like a weekly pay-per-view. Like this is a weekly happening.
Yeah.
And even with the arena, like it was tiny. There was maybe like 1,000 people in there, but it looked like a cool set.
awesome.
The entrance, amazing.
Yeah.
The ring area, the big block WCW letters. I was all in on the style.
Iconic.
And the
Instant-
graphics.
off the bat, they had that. And that was like, I think that's all Bischoff.
Well, what I think is that's all the Turner marketing team. That's not even internal. That's like they got the TNT people to like step in and like bring
Money,
the heat.
please.
And I feel like that's the big difference. Right at like if we watch the Raw, it looks so low res comparatively.
Dark
and
seedy.
and just like and not a happening. So I think this is and really like we mentioned on the first episode, Nitro is the blueprint for all professional wrestling shows that came after. Like AEW Dynamite is basically doing Nitro right now, you know?
WWE Raw is doing Nitro.
Absolutely. Yeah, they
that
absolutely
background.
readjusted there. And we actually see it this week because I read in The Observer that they counter-programmed with actual, like, Razor Ramon versus British Bulldog as opposed to Razor Ramon versus just some scrub.
Yeah.
You know, they see the heat and they're like, they have to step up their game too, which is so exciting.
Big time.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I actually wrote down in my notes that it is fun that kind of the Nitro format here is very similar. It's kind of the opposite of the Rampage format where they do they do their most exciting match at the beginning and then they do the big one at the end, and it's the reverse for Rampage where they do big match up top, exciting match at the end.
It's Dynamite in the Rampage format, basically. You know, it's like fucking
For 1
pure
hour.
heat promo, crazy main event.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I love that it's an hour. It was such an easy watch.
So easy.
Pretty soon, you know, in a few years, it's going to be 3 hours. It's not going to be an easy watch. But for now, very
fucking
easy
hours?
watch.
Hours, Jordan.
Yeah. Well, eventually they kind of gave up, and the first hour was almost like a pre-show. So
Yeah.
there'll be a lot of scanning.
A lot of promos. It's fine. But I
but
mean,
no, this was a
for
great
most of that
show.
run, the cruiserweights that open the show steal the show.
Oh,
Totally.
and they were the best part of it. That was the reason to watch. I feel like one thing Nitro did is they really brought up the work rate of American pro wrestling. You never saw this much action consistently in American wrestling. Was just like headlock, headlock, takedown, like very simple moves and then finisher.
But
That's
this show opens with the debut, the one of like 4 matches for Sabu in WCW, doing all the
I think
stuff.
2. Yes. And I love Sabu. Again, we briefly mentioned him last episode. One of my all-time favorites, hugely influential, hugely underrated. And I was so annoyed that as Sabu is out there killing himself, him and Alex Wright, the commentators are just doing shtick about Mike Ditka. Like, what the hell?
So funny. Well, first off, Alex Wright is I don't know who that. I love this character. When he comes out with the music, I was like, this is the funniest wrestling character because it's basically just like the whole shtick is it's a guy about to have sex on poppers for the first time.
Jordan, truly, just
Nailed
wait.
it.
I love
Alex
him.
Wright
It gets
gets
so much better.
So much better.
Dude, I was in. I was like, I love this guy. I want to go to the club with him and listen to
Yes.
one song.
Oh.
A song
You're
that sounds
gonna,
like one
you're gonna
song
want
for
to
an
buy
hour.
a club with him down the line.
Oh my
okay?
God, let's go.
He's 6'4", shredded. Das Wunderkind.
Packing.
Heat.
You always see it in those fluorescent tights. You
And
can't
he's
miss it. It's not like
unbelievable.
you're looking.
He's good. He's very good.
He's really good.
He should have been something else, but he was unfortunately in WCW. So that didn't happen.
He's a legitimately good wrestler. He could wrestle
Yeah.
cruiserweights. He could wrestle heavyweights, and he's really funny. Like eventually, he's gonna start letting his character show. But here,
He's great.
he was meant. He was
Do
meant
you
to
think
show Sabu off. And honestly, I don't think they really gelled that well. Like Wright didn't know how to sell for him. He kicked out of Sabu's finisher, which
Yeah.
kind of sucked.
Yeah.
So
They
Sabu was like,
had
okay, I
no
have to kill
idea.
you off the top rope right now.
Yeah.
They had
They
no
didn't know how to
idea.
call any of the moves. Bischoff is if the only person worse than Mongo McMichael as a commentator is Eric Bischoff. Because Mongo has an excuse. What the fuck is Eric's excuse? He's been
Yeah.
doing this now for like 5 years and he's terrible at
Eric
it. He's so
said
bad.
every move was an Arabian something, and it would be
Yeah.
like not the right name. An Arabian, not the right name for whatever he's doing.
It's an Arabian lawnmower.
Pretty much. It was
At least
insane.
when Sabu brought out the table, at least finally they went crazy for that table spot, which looked gnarly as hell.
Gnarly.
It
And
looked so
Sabu
painful.
went through that alone, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sabu was like, this is all me, baby.
I love
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's really, I think it is cool and creative and different, especially when we know how bad WCW is with finishes. And Jordan, you're going to see very well how bad they're never good. One
you
out of
saw it at
10
the end
are
of this
good.
episode.
In this episode, we saw
Yeah.
the last
Two of them.
are fucked up.
Yeah, but yeah.
All
This
of
one
them.
is fucked
All of
up.
them, yeah. So, like, I like that establishing Sabu as like he doesn't give a fuck about the match. Yeah, he won, but then he's gonna just keep killing you after, and that's a pattern that they established for all 3 or 4 of his matches in WCW, and that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a way to make a screwy finish fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby
it's a
Heenan
bummer
talks
that Sabu-
so little in this episode. It's so frustrating.
Well, it's Mongo. Mongo is way too over the top and like get him the hell off the show.
But that's what they
Like-
wanted. That's what who
Yeah,
wanted.
yeah.
Was it the network? Who asked for Mongo?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because he's a football guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just retired at that point. What's interesting is he was on WWE TV the year prior. He was in Lawrence Taylor's corner
Yes.
when Lawrence Taylor did that WrestleMania 11 match,
Which was
so he actually had. Yeah, it was all right. For what it was.
I don't know what we're talking about.
This is WrestleMania 11.
WrestleMania,
One
brother.
of the worst WrestleManias.
WrestleMania,
But anyway,
baby.
back to WCW. Yeah. So, yeah, the commentary was weird, but Sabu rules, and really, it's so cool. Like, this is what I think is so cool about Nitro is, which is something that AEW kind of does now too. Is like they have these special guests come in from other promotions that you would never see otherwise, like from Japan, from Mexico, and it's such a fun environment and so cool. Just to see, even just to see Sabu with Bobby Heenan on commentary.
And
is
you know
so
that's the case because
insane.
they don't shut the fuck up about it the whole time. They go, "You're not going to see this anywhere else, especially that other show. You're only going to
Yeah.
see it here."
Oh, and what did you think about Bischoff giving out results? Like, don't bother changing the channel. That old guy, he's about to lose to Shawn Michaels. Did you catch that,
I
Jordan?
did. I did.
what'd
I
you
didn't
think?
know who the old guy was or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But I've heard that was their tactic. I didn't know it was gonna happen immediately.
Episode 2, brother.
Episode 2, they're
Yeah.
talking shit, straight up ruining their own product
Yeah.
to try to shit on the other one.
Just so that you
funny.
don't change the channel.
Yeah.
And eventually
Yeah.
this famously bit them in the ass so hard that it like ruined the show forever.
Yep.
So
Yeah, it was great.
you win some, you lose forever.
losing
Was the Ric
forever.
Flair promo next?
Dude, this promo.
It starts perfect.
Yep.
It's like, oh, Rick is the greatest ever to ever
Yep.
do
Yes.
this ever. Like,
Absolutely.
there's no argument. Like, as soon as he starts talking, doing this whole thing, my eyes are glued to this man.
As soon as he goes, mean by God, woo, Gene. Yeah, I'm so into it.
So,
Yeah.
and the fact that Rick starts just being like, oh, Lex, you're wrestling Hogan tonight. And then Lex is just like, oh, Rick, you're too much, and leaves.
That was why.
What the
What?
fuck?
Why
So
did
Luger
they
absolutely
interact?
fucked up there. Like, I think the whole thing. So here's what's happening.
Okay.
Backstage, so the War Game, the Fall Brawl War Games pay-per-view is this coming week. This is the final show before the pay-per-view.
Right.
And the team, I guess, is Hogan, Flair, Savage, Sting, Vader versus, I believe, the Horsemen? Or no, the Dungeon of Doom.
Dungeon of Doom. No
brutal.
Flair.
And no Flair. Yeah, so why is Flair even there? So I guess
Flair,
it-
so
no,
Flair
Vader
is
and
cutting
Anderson.
a promo on Arn because they're gonna finally have.
Oh,
a program
Flair and Arn are
against each other.
right. I'm sorry. Yes. And this is a big angle because Flair and Arn are best friends, but they're actually feuding. There was even something with his wife, which I thought was so cool, with Arn's wife.
And his baby boy Brock Anderson.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
And then I guess Luger
Already
comes out,
bald,
'cause I
that
guess
baby boy.
I guess the idea was that they were trying to set up that Luger is actually affiliated with the Horsemen. That's what the point of the.
But just
the
like
angle
do
was,
this
but it
on the
didn't-
ramp.
Yeah.
It being in the ring made this so awkward. Do this backstage.
Agree.
I know.
Well,
that
I
you
don't
want
think
people to
they
see
haven't
Rick.
even done one ramp interview yet. Maybe they figured it out for week 3.
Maybe that was like, man, we should probably do this on the ramp because people coming out.
Was Luger in the Horsemen?
Yes. Yes. In the
Okay,
80s.
I didn't catch.
Yeah.
I didn't catch. I mean,
They
was
didn't
a mess,
say that.
so I didn't-
That's why you
it's-
didn't know that, Jordan.
Yeah, they
I
didn't
didn't
really
know
they didn't
that.
really explain it.
That's
yeah.
for,
It just seemed like he missed his cue because he's coming out in full gear. Like
Full
he's
gear.
in his gear.
He's
And I was
oiled
like,
up, ready to
is
go.
Wait, the Hogan match is right now. They're
No.
putting it in the middle.
no.
No,
It's really
He
just
didn't make any
it's a
sense.
tease that Luger was once with the Horsemen, like that just they
And
know
then he
each
could
other.
be with them again. Like, whose side is he on?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
kinda
then
what they're
there's
trying to do.
weirdness with him in the Dungeon of Doom. So that's supposed to add psychologically to the like, well, where does Luger
I have
stand?
to, as stupid as it is this week, this eventually leads to a pretty cool angle with
Yes.
him and with Luger and Sting.
Agree.
I think.
Nice.
And speaking of Sting, he's in the next match against the newly christened VK Wall Street.
VK Wall
formerly-
Street.
What'd you think of
Dude,
VK
formerly-
Wall Street, Jordan?
Formerly Michael Wall Street, VK being Vincent Kennedy, a knock on McMahon.
Only a week.
And also he used to be IRS in WWE.
right.
So now this is something you will notice: WWE guys jumping ship with a sound-alike gimmick.
Yeah. Wait,
This
so
happens so frequently.
wasn't there a
in
promo
WCW.
for him week 1? Where did they call
Yes.
him Michael? Is he Michael Wall Street permanently, or is he VK Wall Street the whole time?
Last week he was Michael
Okay.
Wall Street. This
Right.
week he's VK.
So
Wall
now
Street.
he's just VK Wall Street.
yeah. Bischoff
What-
just decided like I want to poke at McMahon as much as I can.
Did they?
Which I want to point out, like, sorry to cut you off, Jordan, but
Yeah, how
like,
dare
months before, a mere 4 months before, Vince McMahon was running Nacho Man versus the Huckster, kind of skits
Yeah.
with fake Ted Turner. That these are all old guys. McMahon kind of started this kind of hazing of
Look at
WCW.
Virgil's name, you know?
Right. Virgil being a knock on Dusty Rhodes because that's Dusty Rhodes' real name. So McMahon had a long history of fucking with WCW. And this is WCW being like, you know what? Time for us to push back
Yeah, pretty
in a
much.
very cheesy way. But this was their.
In a funny way, that's pretty harmless.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
oh,
well,
I'm
the results
rich.
I think
Oh,
are
no.
pretty. I think the results, giving out the results, are pretty harmful and very
Yeah, that's
taboo. I
fucked.
feel for the first. And that was the first time that any promotion gave away another promotion's results
Yeah.
live on television.
Dirty.
This
That's-
is history.
It's dirty
This is-
shit.
and-
And did they have another acronym for the VK? Like, were they like, this is Victor Kruger Wall Street?
No.
It was like
No,
connection.
it was just
They were
VK.
just said
Vincent
VK.
Kennedy Wall
Yeah.
Street.
Vincent Kennedy Wall Street.
What did you
Dude,
think
that's
of this
so-
match, Jordan? What do you think of Sting?
Dude, Sting should have been Hulk Hogan. He's so the guy.
He's
and
so the guy.
So
it
the guy.
hurts. It like hurts my feelings to watch it because I'm like, this era. Looking at him, I'm like, this is the greatest wrestler of all time.
He
Yo,
looked
do you
like $1
hear
million
the crowd
bucks.
when he
Yeah.
enters. It's
It's-
insane.
It's such a loss.
Yeah.
Everything is. It makes me ache for the Starrcade that I have seen, which is again famously my favorite wrestling thing ever is Starrcade 1997.
Right.
This is making it hurt even more seeing Sting like this, seeing him in the middle of the show.
So the U.S. Championship is being a continuation of the NWA United States Championship is supposed to be incredibly prestigious
Yeah.
because
Totally.
that is in its own way a world championship. Like,
Of course.
it was several championships merged into one, and now here it is, and it looks. That's like my second favorite title of all time. The one he's wearing.
right.
I agree. It's beautiful.
So fucking. Beautiful.
I feel it was akin to the
it's
old
very-
IWGP Intercontinental title. It was like the 1A title.
Sure.
I'm not trying to knock the prestige of it, except yes, I am because he should be the top guy.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
I get that they were. That's what everything that you guys are saying. That's what they said to Sting.
Yeah.
They were like, you're like, oh, you're
But
like
here's the
right
thing.
there.
You have a modern day perception of the secondary title when at this time, the guy with that title, you kind of think is the actual best wrestler. Like the Intercontinental Champion was the best wrestler. The World Champion was like the coolest guy, you know?
Yeah.
But he's
He's
for
both.
me. I'm like
he's
looking
cool.
at
He's
when you
definitely both.
look at like what Hulk Hogan looks like.
Yeah.
It just like he looks ridiculous.
He does, but also-
ridic-
He's just the biggest star ever.
of course.
Yeah.
But it is, yeah. For me, I'm just from my
No, I'm with you.
perspective. I'm looking at Sting, and I'm like, it's just gonna hurt me
This is
every
the best
time I
guy.
watch
Yeah.
him. That he's
It almost
not
feels
the
like he
number
was
one
almost
guy.
too nice. He should have like advocated for himself more and been like, no,
probably.
fuck you, Hogan. You know.
He was
but
he was
whatever.
a company man, clearly to a fault, to the end. But now, look, he's the last man standing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
to this
He's still
day.
having great matches.
He's
fucking
gonna
killing
go
it.
out. He's going out beautifully on a high.
He's George fucking Washington on the Mount Rushmore, brother. Okay.
He's George
I mean, he's still
Washington, but
going.
like handing in his wooden teeth to a tiny him.
Like that's the coolest thing of all time. Sometimes I think about him and Darby today and just how fucking sick it is.
It's beautiful.
It's so
it's
cool.
beautiful stuff.
Yeah, what a great
I wa-
ending. Like, imagine if the last match we knew of Sting was that awful Seth Rollins match he had where Rollins killed his back. Well, no shade to Rollins.
Yeah, of
But like, what a bad like, he has exceeded all expectations since. Like, when he came back in Winter Is Nothing, I assumed he would do like 6-man tags where he would just do like a scorpion. Never did I assume we would see Sting doing New Jack jumps.
He's doing the thing on every show.
Yeah.
The thing where you go,
It's-
yo,
yeah,
did you
yeah,
see
yeah.
that
He
thing?
steals the show. It's crazy. Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
It rocks. Also, I'm calling it Winter Is Nothing for forever now, Rob.
Oh, is that what I said?
Yeah, I think you said Winter Is
Winter or
Nothing.
nothing.
Winter Is Nothing forever.
I like that.
But
love
yeah,
it.
dude, Sting is just unbelievable.
He wins with a flying crossbody and you're not even mad, you know?
Yeah. This was a great television match, I thought. Both guys are total pros. Wall Street for as terrible as his gimmick is, he knows his role here. His role is to like be a dick to the fans and make Sting look like $1 million. Right.
This
exactly
BK
what
is
happened.
Bray Wyatt's dad, right?
Yes, correct.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Mike Rotunda is
So insane.
Isn't that?
yeah. And Total Pro. He's also been wrestling for 20 years at this
yeah.
point. This guy's a
Up next was Macho
this
Man and
match.
Scott Norton.
yes. Oh, this
Dude.
match sucked.
Dude, Scott Norton looks like he should have been opening up for 100 Demons
He
like,
was in. He was
back
in
in the
Hard
day.
Games, straight up. Two-time IWGP Heavyweight Champion Scott Norton.
Yeah.
Put
Dude,
some respect on
Very,
him.
very big in Japan.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. I love seeing Macho Man. It's to me, this is so wild to know that this is post Slim Jim Macho Man. It's he's already in the Slim Jim era.
He's already the Slim Jim guy, yeah.
I thought for sure that happened during
Is that true?
the
'Cause
Nitro.
I know they tie it into the show much later. Like Halloween Havoc is
it is
presented
true.
by
It
Slim
is.
Jim.
He started the Slim Jim stuff in WWF.
Okay.
He took that with him to WC. That's why Bischoff famously says, like, "Oh, why did I sign Macho Man? Because his contract was $750,000 a year,
Yeah.
and he also brought with him the Slim Jim endorsement, which was a gain of $750,000 a
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
So essentially, he got Macho Man for free.
So crazy.
That's so insane.
Yeah, and what a pro Macho Man is. Like, do you think Hulk Hogan would spend 90% of his match against Scott Norton selling for Scott Norton and making Scott Norton look like a monster? No.
That's in my notes. I was like, having Macho Man sell for a guy named Scott Norton is right. Like, the Macho
Scott-
Man should not be allowed to sell for people with regular ass names. If your
fucking
name is your
love-
name, you lose.
I love both of these guys. I truly love Scott Norton. You know I'm a diehard Macho Man guy.
You're wearing a Macho Man shirt right now. I
Correct
know.
me on my body. I got it. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So with wrestling, when you're in the middle of the ring, generally, you take the bump. You know, if somebody's running at you and you're in the middle of the ring, you're going down. Scott Norton does some like straight up Ultimate Warrior shit several times
Yeah.
in this, where he's in the middle and just fucking hard stances him, and Macho Man goes flying. The way that and Macho Man's incredible perfection of a performer you can see in his selling in this match. That like the selling is what makes him so good. He's giving
Yes.
Scott Norton a gift here, and it's very
He
special.
really is.
Not a great match, but symbolically great match.
It's the match is fine, I think, but the ending is again like we're seeing it now. Just like they don't. Again, at least WCW respects Macho Man enough not to make him lose to Scott Norton.
Yeah.
And this is Scott Norton's debut. They don't want him to lose. They still want to build him up, which they don't ever really do. So instead, they send out the Dungeon of Doom, which like looks so like it sucked then.
Yeah.
I remember hating it then. It looks 50 times
It is-
more dated today.
The guy with the pole looks like Heat Miser. It's crazy.
So that's Kevin Sullivan. He's
Yes.
is he the booker
He's
right
the
now?
taskmaster. He is the booker.
He's the booker of
And-
WCW.
And in his defense, his excuse for the Dungeon of Doom, which isn't really an excuse, is that Hulk Hogan needed foes
Yeah.
to lose to him, and he didn't want like to just kill, his actual top wrestlers. So he created all these cartoon characters where it wouldn't matter that they lose, and Hulk Hogan would have his little corner of the wrestling thing
Right.
to do it. The problem was we had to suffer through it.
We did. And
But here's the thing: even a guy named Kevin Sullivan, like, why Scott Norton needs a the something like Scott
no.
the motherfucker Norton.
Oh, Flash. His name is Scott Flash Norton.
yeah.
There we go. Put that on the screen.
Yeah.
He don't need
You'll
nothing.
notice he has a little thunderbolt on his
Yeah.
on his
Good.
on his
The Dungeon of Doom. What is Brutus's new name?
Zodiac. The
Zodiac.
Zodiac.
And
And the shark.
He just says
Earthquake
yes
is the
and
shark.
no, right?
Yeah, correct.
Which is how
And,
the War Games. That's how the finish of War Games happens. You'll see, Jordan. It's insane.
Oh,
Oh, my
God.
goodness. I forgot.
Are we
I
doing
totally
that? We're
forgot about
doing War Games
Oh,
before
yeah.
episode 3, right?
Absolutely.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Is that next
At
week?
least the main event. It's Sunday before the next Nitro.
Right, dude.
Shit.
These guys, I get that like Hogan needs dudes to beat, but these costumes were hilarious.
Shark. How can they say seriously like, look at Shark?
Yeah, it's so insane. They look like Banjo and Kazooie.
They
villains.
really do.
It's so wild.
It's crazy.
I couldn't believe it. Dungeon of Doom. Here's the thing. Next week I'm gonna love it. It's gonna turn for me,
Here's
and
the
I'm gonna
thing,
be
Joe,
endeared to
I'll
it.
send you a little video where Hogan ends up visiting their dungeon or whatever.
Oh
I
my
think you'll love
God. Jordan, get ready for like 2 years of the Dungeon of Doom.
it. Yeah.
What? Oh no!
Well, to be fair, it does,
No,
well,
are you
the
saying
worst.
2 years.
Well, until the NWO comes,
Yeah.
they're the main
So
feud
a
for
year.
Hogan. A year. It's basically a year. And really, the worst is yet to come. When we get to Halloween,
Yes.
so that's next month.
Yes.
Oof. That's all like, oof.
Oh my
It
god!
does get
Historically
better.
terrible.
It does get better. They get cool guys. But
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about, Rob.
They move more into the mid card, so it's more tolerable.
Yes.
But right now, very, very intolerable. So anyway, the Dungeon of Doom comes out, which prompts Hogan and Sting to come out to save Macho. And I guess the ending of this match is so stupid where, like, the Shark falls on Scott Norton, which allowed Macho Man to give him the elbow. Like, a lot. This is a total schmaz.
This is
less we talk
this
about-
is a what we call a WCW finish, baby.
Yes.
It's Fox.
Exactly.
Just a Benny Hill scene, and then the finish.
And then there's a pinfall. It's crazy.
That's so funny. And you're right. The show, it does get better because after this, we get the muscular dystrophy commercial again. I get to
Oh my
hear
God.
Macho Man go, fight the battle against muscular dystrophy and help out my pals. I love that.
Yes. Love it.
I love
it so much.
Dude, I give me I want every medical commercial to be delivered by the Macho Man.
Every illness.
That'd be unbelievable.
To be
you
represented
think
by Macho Man.
You got lactose intolerance,
brother.
Do you or a family member have mesothelioma? You might be entitled to compensation. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that. If I could go back, that's the one thing I'd do.
That's
Are you suffering from diabetes, brother?
Oh, no.
Retire Wilford Brimley. Bring in Macho.
Eugenics Total T.
Oh God.
She'll like it too, oh, yeah.
Main event time.
Main event time. I have to say, going into this, and again, I didn't watch the first year of Nitro. I didn't have cable yet, so this was a first time viewing for me. And going in, it really feels like, holy shit, this is a big main event.
Yeah, it has
And
a
I-
big fight feel.
And I feel like they didn't really kind of convey the gravity of the moment in the commentary at all. Like, it
crowd
felt more of
got
a big
it.
deal to me. Yeah, the crowd got it. The commentary, I feel like maybe there should have been like a video package or something, like some kind of like tale of the tape, something to kind of hype it up. Like, these are the two biggest
Guys.
like muscle guys in
The commentary's
wrestling at this
problem
moment.
for the first whole entire year of Nitro, at least, and part of the NWO stuff whenever Bischoff comes back, is they're trying to sell you on WCW instead of just talking about the show.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of this is where the big boys play, which
It's-
is the worst catchphrase.
it's
There's a
awful.
lot of like, oh, Luger is rusty because he's been fighting with these herbs
Yeah.
in WWF. Here, this is the big boys.
Instead,
You
just
gotta-
be
he's
like,
got-
guys, this is every wrestling fan in the world has been waiting for this match. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Sell the
And of
action.
course, and as hyped as I was, it absolutely did not live up to the
No.
hype.
Listen,
5 minute
there
nothing.
there was a drop toe hold in this match. I'll tell you what. I didn't
Yes,
expect to
that's
see
true.
even that move.
I was surprised that Hulk Hogan allowed himself to be put in the torture rack.
Oh.
That was something that I was like, holy shit, I can't believe he agreed to this.
was
And then a moment
racked.
later, he just fucking no-sells it and hulks up, and I'm like, oh, that's why you agreed to it. This sucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the first guy to not tap from the rack. So yeah. put me in.
yeah.
Have you
Yeah,
ever?
fuck that.
Let me ask you something, guys. You ever been playing around and racked somebody?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
It is so hard to do.
They have to be a
looks-
willing participant.
That position is like all you. Whereas like a Death Valley Drive or Fireman's Carry type thing is like super easy to just be like, whoop, here you go. But the torture rack one, the like momentum of that is like, it's so hard to do. So the fact that Luger can do that to people like Giant, like Hogan, that man was strong.
Yes, there's no doubt about that.
Holy
It
hell.
is like seeing it. I was like, frankly, I know that this is his big move, but it is a bit of a silly looking move.
Jordan,
if
I
I'm
want you to
being
go
honest.
downstairs when we wrap this. I want you to try to rack Emma. And I
I
want,
probably can't do it.
I'm straight up. You're not going to be able to because it's really hard to do.
Everyone that I've done it to, they've had to like kind of like jump up to allow me to
You
like the momentum
need-
of them jumping.
But even
allows
Hogan
me.
jumping up would be like,
Yeah.
God damn, dude, chill.
Hogan is like almost 300 pounds.
Yes.
Yeah, like he's a big
He's
a big
dense.
dude.
And Luger could rack anybody.
Yeah.
It's
It's-
hard.
Yeah,
really
he did like
nuts.
Roadblock, I remember. Like, yeah. We're gonna have some fun.
But
with
here's the
that.
thing.
So
Luger gets his fucking payback with that rack one day.
oh yeah. Yes. in a
And
few
nothing
years.
ever feels better than that.
Yeah. It's the best
That
moment in Nitro
is
history.
better than Starrcade 97.
Yeah. And
It's
it's
right
immediately
before.
invalidated a week later.
Exactly.
So
So funny. I also love. I just want to mention this. I really like that outside of the Nitro theme itself, everyone comes out to the same song. Everyone's coming out to "I Can't Drive 55" by Sammy Hagar. It's unbelievable.
It's down, get down, get down, get down, down, get down, get down.
no, the theme songs in WCW are masterful. Jimmy Hart did most of the production, and they're mostly sound-alikes. It's good that you're watching the Daily Motion thing because I think on the network they kind of overdub a bunch
They
of
do.
them because of the copyright issues. But some of the sound-alikes sound incredible. So I think we missed something. At some point, didn't Luger agree to join Hogan's team? Is that after?
That's after the match.
After
So they
the
do
match.
a big promo, an insane promo where everybody's just trying to get their moment.
Right. Okay. So what happened? So this was all rushed, right? Because then the Dungeon of Doom comes out to attack everyone.
Again?
You should again. And one thing you notice, they do not touch Luger. I think this is a big plot point. They don't touch Luger. They only attack Hogan. Nobody touches Luger.
They don't touch Jimmy
And
Hart either, Rob.
They don't touch. That's true. That's true. And so Luger's loyalty is called into question, but he says he will join Team Hogan because, as we mentioned last week, Vader is now fired from the company
Dude,
after getting into.
Let's talk about that. Because
That-
they just say that Vader didn't file the proper paperwork.
Yeah,
to be
like
in
Vader.
War Games.
Vader lost his vaccine card. Couldn't make it into the country.
Vader didn't sign the War Games NDA, so he can't
Yeah.
be in action anymore.
Dude, that was so funny.
And they did it twice. They're like, Vader's gone AWOL. That's so fucked up. Like, this guy was
Yeah,
the
I agree.
champion 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And he gets
Yeah.
in a fight with a beautiful, big, sexy man with flip-flops on. And it's all over?
Wonderful Paul
Is it, wait,
Orndorff.
is that what happens?
So
I don't know. what
Mr.
happens.
Wonderful Paul Orndorff is at this point retired. I think no, he's not retired.
No.
But,
There was a
but he's
promo
mostly
for him, week 1.
Yeah, right. But I think he's mostly working as an agent or something like that. Like he's kind of on the way out.
Sure.
Essentially, he's sunsetting his
He has
career.
a match in a few weeks, I believe.
So
Maybe
yeah, he does still wrestle a little bit, but he's mostly training guys. And I guess he kind of told Vader, "Hey Vader, you got to go out and do something. Like, hey Vader, can you move?" Or something like that, like something innocuous. And Vader's like, "Go fuck yourself." And he's like, "Oh, do you have a problem?" And Paul Orndorff had just gotten out of the shower. He's wearing a towel and flip flops, and things get heated, and Paul Orndorff wins the fight. Because Paul Orndorff is a legitimate old school tough guy. Before he got into wrestling, he would just fight under highways, like
Fuck yeah.
unsanctioned fights, like just to make money. So Vader did not know who he was fucking with. Vader started the fight. Because of that, he was suspended. He got really pissed off and was like, "Fuck it, I don't want to come anymore."
Yeah.
And basically, they released him. And it ended up being a little bit of a legal battle. Because he still had time on his contract, and he also wrestled in Japan. But he eventually got out of it, and Vader is going to be making his WWF debut the following January at Royal Rumble.
Crazy.
So he's gone.
And they dropped that ball hard with Vader.
Big time.
They never
'Cause Vader,
understood what they had.
Vader ruled at this point. Vader was so great. He was like,
Boy Meets World star Vader.
Yeah. He's in the intro credits.
Is he?
No.
Oh.
I wish
Oh,
that'd be incredible.
Yeah,
Vader. That big guy.
Vader's
with-
between Ryder Strong
In a
and
Yeah.
what's Eric's name? What's Batman Beyond's name?
I forgot his name.
That fucking guy. He's between Ryder Strong and Batman Beyond.
And Batman
the Boy
Beyond.
Meets World credits.
Ryder Strong and Batman Beyond.
That's right.
Also, before we get out of this, dude, Macho Man speaks once on this show in the ring.
Yeah.
And it's him disapproving of Lex Luger joining the team. And he says, I'm going to say double goes for me. I'm asking you also.
Yeah,
That's just
everyone
him
can
being
know
like,
their
I have
lines
to
here.
say something. I'm the fucking Macho Man. You know?
Dude,
Yeah.
the sentence structures from these men, it's my fucking
insane.
favorite thing in the whole. I'm going to.
They don't explain that Sting and Luger are best friends in
Right.
real life. And like Sting is the reason Luger's working there. And they
Yeah.
own a gym together. They don't say any of that.
That's true.
That's why Sting is backing up Luger there.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
But just the sentence,
I'm gonna say double goes for me. I'm asking you also.
is hilarious.
You also.
I'm gonna say Dan double goes for me. I'm asking you also.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's
I
good
want
shit.
that on a shirt.
Well, maybe that's the first piece of Kanitro merch.
Yeah, I'll see
Yeah.
if I can arrange it. But, you know what? Like an easy to watch second episode full
Yeah.
of stars that you are lucky to have seen at any point in your life.
And really, this is the first true episode of last week was a very special edition. You know, this is what the show is. And next week, I think as the weeks go on, they're going to figure out the show. Like with Dynamite when it first started, like the first few weeks were a little weird, but then like week 5 was like, fuck, they figured it out. It's great. And I think the same thing is going to happen here. I'm excited.
Yeah, but
for
then
next
the
week
Dungeon
we
of
have
Doom is still there, and it's
right. So Fall Brawl '95 is like a very interesting a lineup because it's a very transitional moment for WCW. So you have Johnny B. Bad versus Brian Pillman.
Oh, Jordan, just fucking wait till you see
Oh
this match.
gosh.
Johnny B. Bad should be a 30-time world champion.
You're gonna love Johnny B. Bad. Johnny
He's
B.
the
Bad
best
is basically
wrestler
the
of
wrestling
all
Little
time.
Richard. His gimmick is he's Little Richard, and he looks like Little Richard. It's even in the
What?
song.
Just wait.
You're gonna love it.
This match is like 30 minutes long, and it's insane. It's unbelievable.
Then this match I
can't
think I'm
wait.
gonna skip. It's Cobra versus Sergeant Greg Pittman.
Dude, Cobra is the guy with the Morse code entrance music. It's just Morse code.
I gotta watch it now.
You'll see.
Okay, maybe I do have to watch
It's
it.
on War Games. It's fucking yeah. It's just it's awful.
Then we have the Renegade, which is the knockoff Ultimate Warrior because they couldn't sign Ultimate Warrior
Sad story here.
with Jimmy Hart, the late great Renegade, versus Diamond Dallas Page with Diamond Doll, his ex-wife
Diamond Doll.
Kimberly, and Max Muscle.
Maximum Muscle.
That's
Fuck
right.
Yeah.
Which-
DDP has so many gimmicks.
Yeah.
From what I
DDP
remember.
is just still finding himself.
Yeah.
Then we have the stud
Incredible.
stable of Bunkhouse Buck and Dirty Dick Slater.
Right.
One of my favorite wrestling names, with Colonel Robert Parker against Harlem Heat with Sister Sherry. And that's
Fuck
not bad.
yeah.
That
Tag
would be a fun
titles?
match. Yeah, that's for the tag title.
Yeah.
Then we have Arn Anderson versus Ric Flair in a grudge match we thought we would never see, which should be great. And finally, the big, awful War Games match.
It's so awesome.
Hogan, Luger, Savage, and Sting versus the Dungeon of Doom, Kamala, Meng, the Shark, and the Zodiac.
in.
This War Games main event is the only time any wrestler has worn, other than Stone Cold, has worn as much camo as I do. In this match. You'll see. It's awesome. We're gonna talk about it next week.
Next week.
On Nitro.
And the following Nitro, right? We're going to do
Oh
as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
We do them
so
together?
It's going to be a twofer.
As
think
one
so.
episode?
Together.
Sure.
This will we'll never get to the NWO if we got to.
Yeah, we got. I was thinking, eventually we might double up on Nitro episode just to get to NWO quicker. But we'll see. We'll see how we get there. We're still working out. We want to know your feedback.
Yeah, we do.
Well, let us know if you're enjoying, if you're watching along with us, if you're listening. Hit us up. We'd love to.
If you've never seen WCW, if you're rewatching it with us, if you don't care about wrestling at all and you just want to hear us talk about stuff, thanks for listening. Whoever you are.
Yeah. You're sweetie pie. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Don't change the channel, folks. You don't want to see the big guy on the other podcast.
That's right. Yeah, don't change that channel. You got Alicia Tout going over Daniel DK with an arm bar.
You got to talk to me talking to everybody from Stone Sour right here on NotFest.com. You're not going to see any kind of content like that on any other website. We'll see you here next week, but keep watching.
We're out of time.
Down.